Hey guys, it's Lazarus here, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the top 7 hardy fish. They're great for beginners and they're bulletproof, so they're super hard to kill and they're lots of fun. Let's dive straight into the video. Okay, so the first fish on the list is the Endler Guppies. Now these fish take place in my tank right here, and they're great for your small 5-gallon nano aquariums. Now instead of saying the common guppies, they get a bit bigger and they show a bit more colors or variety, you could say. Well, the Endler Guppies, they are so much more hardier as they got a very stable genetics, and they got a really strong line so that you can breed these guys. You rarely get any genetic problems with Endler Guppies, plus they're pretty easy to find and they do show amazing coloration. Now they can survive wider water parameters, and they are absolutely awesome for beginners because they can adapt to all sorts of environments, and they're usually pretty cheap depending on the type you get. If you get the assorted Endler Guppies, you're going to get some pretty cool little fish there. Now, the thing is with Endler Guppies, if you just want to have some beautiful Endler Guppies in your tank, no breeding or anything, well then I recommend you just get males. Males show the color, females show barely any color. There might be very few species of Endler Guppies out there where the females also show some pretty cool patterning, but they're usually quite plain colored, and you really only get them for breeding if that's what you're going for. You can put 1 or 2 Endler Guppies in there and they bring lots of activity and lots of color. Now next up, we have a staple fish, the Harlequin Rasboras. You can't go wrong with these fish. I honestly haven't kept these before, but they are absolutely beautiful and they're very hardy. These fish can survive wide parameters of water as well, and they are a pretty fun fish to keep. So you're going to need a school of these fish as they don't like to be by themselves or with 2 or 3. So in that case, I recommend you get a 6 or more, as these guys are schooling fish, and like most Rasboras, they need lots of friends and a nice big planted tank. So I'd go with maybe a school of 6 to 10 in a 30-gallon or more tank. So that'll make a really cool centerpiece, or get more than 10. The more Harlequin Rasboras you get, the more awesome your tank will look. They're great with live plants. They're pretty cheap usually, and they only get up to 4 centimeters. So keep the pH from 6.0 to 7.5 for these guys, along with a nice stable temperature from 24 to 26 degrees Celsius. But the reason why they made my hardy fish list is because you can have a nice big group and you're not going to be seeing any of the Harlequin Rasboras disappear. They are strong swimmers. Next up is a personal favorite. We have the very popular Cardinal Tetras, a great alternative to your Neon Tetras, because the Cardinal Tetras are a wild version of the Neon Tetras, and they're usually captured from the wild or bred in captivity, but their line is very strong. They're a bit harder to breed. They are a very good staple. You're not going to be seeing any Cardinal Tetras disappear any soon. They get a bit bigger than Neon Tetras unless you have the jumbo Neon Tetras. But the Cardinal Tetras have more red than Neon Tetras, and they still have that beautiful neon stripe going horizontally across the body. So you need to get a nice school of these. These fish can go all the way down to 15 gallons in a group of 6, and they certainly bring so much color in the tank. Their neon stripe is absolutely stunning, and with a blue LED light, they'll look incredible as well. You need to keep the pH from 6 to 7.5. Lower than 7.5 is a lot better. They love tannin-stained waters, and they'll actually show better coloration in tannin-stained water. So you can just put green tea in the water, or you can put leaves. Overall, Cardinal Tetras can survive a wide parameter of water, although they do like the softer acidic water, and they do make a great centerpiece with your groups of other smaller fish too. Now I used to keep this fish and they were great fun. So next up on the list we have the Pakistani Loach. They're also known as the yo-yo loach, and they are quite a fascinating little fish. If you've got a snail infestation in your tank, then these guys will clean them right up. They're probably the best snail eater out there. So those pest snails will be saying goodbye as soon as you put a Pakistani Loach in the tank. Now it is preferred to have a group of the Pakistani Loach, 6 or more, and that means you'll need a really big tank because Pakistani Loach get all the way up to 10 centimeters. So in that case, I'd go with a 30-gallon or more for a group of 4, and if you get 6, then probably a 40 gallon or more. But once you have the Pakistani Loach, you're not going to be seeing any snails. These guys are super hardy, and they can survive in so many different parameters. They can go from pHs of from 6.5 to 8, along with temperatures from 22 all the way up to 28 degrees Celsius. So all in all, Pakistani Loach are great snail eaters and a great choice for those who's starting out, who just want a bit of action in the tank. Fifth is another staple fish, the zebra Danios. You can't go wrong with these fish. They are constantly moving at the surface of the water. They won't stop, and they bring so much activity in the tank. I'm telling you, if you're looking for activity in a tank, you have to go with the zebra Danios. They are very easy to find usually, depending on where you live, but they are also a pretty hardy fish and usually pretty cheap too. They're not too hard to breed. They're kind of an intermediate fish to breed. They're definitely a beginner fish just to keep in general for fun. So the zebra Danios prefer to be in groups of 5 or more, but if you have other faster fish in the tank, then you can get 1 or 2 of these fish and you'll be fine. It's just that they tend to nip at the slower moving fish and it doesn't really end well, and I've experienced this a lot in my zebra Danios. So zebra Danios are quite a beautiful fish. They're basically just a grey to white color with blue stripes going horizontally across. There's a few different species of zebra Danios. You can get the gold zebra Danios or the long fin or just the common varieties. They're a bit of fun to keep and they do great with live plants and anything really, so give them a go. They also don't need a heater inside too. There's another positive about this fish. If you're a person like me who's into the fact of having catfish in their aquarium, these prehistoric looking fish, well then I recommend the Corydoras catfish, but more specifically the bronze cories. They are a lot cheaper than any other cory out there usually, and they are the hardiest too. So the bronze cories are basically these little catfish that have little whiskers and they will sift their nose into the substrate. They're super cute. They got so much personality. But again, with these fish, they are also a schooling fish. So you will need to have a group of at least 4 or more. 6 is preferred. But I've had success with just keeping 4 in a 20-gallon cube. They're not the most vibrant fish, but they definitely bring quite a lot of activity at the bottom of the tank. So if you don't really have many bottom dwellers, and you want to find a cute one with lots of personality. So the bronze are really easy to find compared to others like the gold lasers. They're usually pretty expensive where I live. The bronze cories love lots of hiding places and some little caves to hide in case they feel threatened or just for their safety. They like to hide once in a while, and they are usually a nocturnal fish. They will come out at night like most catfish. They'll fill their prey with their whiskers. So the Corydoras aren't really an algae eater. Lots of people think they are, but they're actually a meat eater, so they will eat leftover foods that drop down to the bottom and sinking pellets too. So feed them those, and they'll also eat frozen food that sinks down. So any leftover food really, they're a great cleanup crew, but they don't eat algae wafers and those sort of veggie based foods. Now I'm not sure with other people, but this last fish is a pretty hardy fish that I've had experience with. It's the pearl gouramis. So some people might debate with this fish because some people might not have much success with the pearl gouramis. I haven't had any die before. They are super hardy and they're probably one of the most prettiest fish as far as patterning goes, and they do show an awesome coloration. So since they're called the pearl gourami, they show a purple pearl sort of coloration. It's hard to explain, but it reflects on the sun. It looks beautiful, and they have an insane patterning, so detailed and so complicated, it's hard to explain. But these guys are pretty hardy. Males will have the red bellies, females will usually have a gray belly, but they are pretty beautiful fish. They're a bit harder to find, but these guys can go from pHs from 7 to 8. They like the harder water, of course, like most gouramis, and they do prefer the temperatures at 24 to 26 degrees. They prefer the water parameters stable, but they can go up and down a little. So they are pretty hardy and they're a great beginner fish. So I give them a go because they are beautiful, and these guys don't need much surface vibrations either. So you can have slow moving water and they'll be fine because they actually take oxygen by gulping at the surface of the water. They don't actually need moving water to get their oxygen, which is pretty cool. That applies to all gouramis too, by the way. Well, all in all, if you're looking for some beautiful fish that are really hardy and absolutely bulletproof, and you won't have many genetic issues over the years of keeping them, well then these 7 fish are great choices if you're a beginner starting out and you're looking for some that are really hardy and the easiest to keep. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content just like this. Have a wonderful day everyone, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.